So I just want to say, before we even go ahead and get started with the review, the fact that I called the actual name of Koki Yukishiro's power last chapter review, I deserve a medal or something here. Guys, welcome to DanDaDan. Another day, another video out about this amazing series. And to be honest with you, this couldn't have been the more perfect ending for someone who deserves to get thrown in the pig pen. I don't know what it is about PE teachers, but they are some of the most despicable human beings in the entire world. Now, last chapter, we were obviously getting into Ira, Rin, and Koki's big struggle going up against the severed head dribblers, because no matter how hard they tried, it was clear that Mr. Murakami was nowhere in the gymnasium, and as long as they had no access to defeat him or physically stop him, the headless dribblers would keep attacking without end. And obviously our characters have stamina to worry about, and they were slowly approaching that breaking point. Meanwhile, our evil mastermind, Mr. Murakami, is over in his high luxury apartment trying to harass one of his fellow teachers and blackmail them into sleeping with him just so he will help pay Miss Adachi's mom's hospital expenses. Adding a whole nother layer to this disgusting creep of a human being who was already using his power and authority over younger women to take advantage of them, find lewd pictures of them, and then get them to do awful things. And add in the whole Count Saint Germain Kozuka knife thing. It all gets absolutely indescribable to redeem this man. I know everyone was making the joke that, wait until everyone sees Mr. Murakami's crazy backstory and, everyone starts feeling bad for him. I don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, even Ira doesn't seem to be willing to forgive him because she cracks the fuck out of him right in the mitt with her leg, right when he tries to play it off all funny, like, oh wow, I was in the bath and suddenly I'm here. I don't know what happened. Guys, what are you doing in school this late? Run away. Like, you are not getting away with that nonsense. We caught you. We know what's up. But something that I think is really interesting in regard to the whole Kozuka knife situation, because a lot of these characters don't seem to either know who is exactly an ally, who is exactly an enemy, it seems like it's really just one big free-for-all, despite the fact that these Kozuka knives have been distributed equally. Count Saint Germain, at first, it seemed like was running this crazy shadow organization and hitman squad where he was sending people out to do his bidding, which we do know is the case. We do know that certain people are getting text messages and targets to go after. However, it also seems to be the case that some of these characters aren't really loyal to whoever gave them the Kozuka knife in the first place. Because if they were, maybe they would be acting at least more friendly towards each other. Obviously, Mr. Murakami is being an absolute terrible person to Miss Adachi, but she not only is aware that he has a power that she has to be worried about, she also is willing to steal his power, which shows that insubordination or betraying your allies isn't something that she is at all worried about in whatever situation she got herself contracted into. We know Koki Yukishiro was specifically contracted by Mr. Murakami now, using the lewd pictures as blackmail. She is not the only girl that has suffered these consequences and may have been given powers and instructed to steal other people's powers. The real main issue is it seems like Count Saint Germain isn't steadily organizing these people. He is just giving them power and seeing what they do with it, which obviously leads to awful situations because you have people like Mr. Murakami who, the moment they get a little bit of power and authority, are more than willing to use it to exploit all the people that they think are beneath them. It is nice to know that no matter what happened, Mr. Murakami was gonna get pieced up, whether it was by Miss Adachi and the Jiangshi, who were ready to go the moment that he pounced on Miss Adachi and let his guard down. They were literally going to Uzumaki barrage the fuck out of my man. Not only that, with Koki's ability, Lord of the Flies, named by me, of course, Koki is able to literally control not just flies, but any small beings or insects whatsoever. Now, this may even be able to extend further as she levels up and grows. Maybe she can control critters and, small like bunnies and little rodents. But as of right now, it's just bugs. And bugs, at least the giant swarms of them that Koki is summoning, are more than enough to not only completely just obliterate all of the headless dribblers and get them out of their way, but also completely completely just eradicate Mr. Murakami to the point that it seems like he's being devoured and just having bugs flown and forced into every orifice of his body, which is just terrifying. Probably one of my biggest fears. The one thing that I think proves true is, despite that Miss Adachi is someone that took on this evil power to potentially commit evil deeds just for the sake of her mom, she is still a good person at the end of the day. Something that shows that Kintaka wasn't all wrong in assuming that she was innocent in this grand scheme of things, because even after this man, Mr. Murakami, tried to legitimately assault her and take advantage of her, after she steals his power and he admits defeat because he just can't handle all of the bugs just torturing him, which again, the funniest thing is Mr. Murakami is assuming that these bugs are her power. He sees the Jiangshi, he sees the bugs, everything like that, and he just assumes everything is all together. He doesn't realize that there are two separate abilities. Miss Adachi doesn't even know what's going on, but she's going to be more than happy to take advantage of this situation. I mean, just like Mr. Murakami was more than willing to take advantage of the previous situation, but I digress. Even after all of this, and Mr. Murakami does accept defeat and give up his power to Miss Adachi, she follows through on her promise. She does try to spare his life, which I think it's important to note. He only accepted this because he thought it would stop his torture. He didn't accept this because he learned a lesson. Clearly, he did not learn a lesson, because after the bugs transport him to the gymnasium, and after he tries to pretend he had nothing to do with any of this and is none the wiser, he also goes, you know what, fine, I'll delete all of the pictures of Yukishiro, but don't push me too hard because, you know, I still do have all the power in this situation with the pictures. So Mr. Murakami didn't learn anything. He's not someone that I potentially thought of might have been corrupted or went from a very good person to a bad person. He was always a piece of shit. It's very clear that that was all one big act. This guy was more than willing to blackmail students, more than willing to take advantage and shove a teacher into a bunny costume because she needed money to pay for her poor sickly mother's hospital expenses. So I think it is very fair that Ira ends up quite literally knocking the block off of him. I don't know why he thought he was going to get away with that one. So now that the bugs have completely just broken into the entire gymnasium, have completely swarmed everything, brought Mr. Murakami back, and he's taken care of, I have to imagine they have broken all of the glass. They're swarming this entire gym. What is going on outside? Because we know nothing about what has happened in the fight between Okarun, Kintaka, and the Jet Booster Kerr and Heisei. And honestly, this has been such a fun battle. I'm happy that we have resolved it relatively in a fun way of giving Yukishiro an awakening of her true powers. I've got to be honest with you, I'm much more interested to see what in the hell is going on outside. It seems like these may be the characters that are going to be able to help Okarun and Kintaka out of the situation that they're in, if they're like not already cooked and just completely incapacitated. Because remember, we haven't cut back at all. So much could have happened to two characters that, as far as we know, don't have anything to go off of but Kintaka's nano machines. Other than that, I'm expecting Ira and everyone leave to a beaten and destroyed Okarun and Kintaka, or they get kidnapped, or frankly, one of the most biggest FUs by Yukinobu would be just transitioning over to what Momo and Seiko are doing. Although I highly doubt that. I'm happy to see that Mr. Murakami is going to get his comeuppance. I'm genuinely interested to see what they do with him going forward, because he is, as far as we know, the main and first adult to be a big villain in the series. All of the other villains have either been aliens, spirits that we have put to peace. Are we going to send Mr. Murakami to jail? What do you guys feel is the appropriate situation and the appropriate way to handle Mr. Murakami from this point going forward? And also, what do you guys think is going to be the situation that we walk into outside of the gym? Is Okarun going to be standing atop two bodies as the king? That would be kind of fucking crazy. But all I know is DanDaDan keeps getting better every chapter. I am loving it. I'm happy that Lord of the Flies is an awesome ability for Koki to use. It honestly seems pretty OP, but we'll just have to see what its limitations are, what its conditions are. As we know, Koki's pretty tired right now. She might not be able to recreate that swarm up against and save Okarun, but we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens next week, guys. Thank you so much if you made it this far into the end of the video. I bet you so much money that Yukinobu will bring us another fire chapter next week, and I also bet you money that I'll be here covering it. So guys, I genuinely appreciate you again. Hit that like button if you haven't already. It helps the channel way more than you know. If you want to join the Discord, please consider becoming a member of the channel. It's only $1 and you immediately get the link that brings you access to the community where we can talk about this chapter and more. I'll see you in the next one. Peace, 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 peace. How many can I throw in at the end? Peace.